Welcome to another episode of Game Time, presented this week by the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Fe del Norte. I'm JP Murrieta, and this week we're at Pecos High School, home of the Panthers and their girls basketball team, and head coach Lawrence Ragland. Thanks for joining us this week.
Thank you, JP.
Man, what a season for Pecos. And we were talking earlier that the boys team has had so much success. Girls team has won 2 state titles over the last 5 years, but now both programs are kind of on that same track, going right down in the right direction. What's it like for you and the girls team?
Super exciting, super exciting. We started up a little shaky, got a couple of close games, some good overtime games, and came up on top, and we believe, all of us, the girls believe in me, I believe in them, and we're working really hard.
You started a little bit shaky, 5-5 to start the season,
Yes,
something
sir.
like that. What clicked for you? What turned the page for you guys?
Oh, I think the triple overtime in the NRG tournament against Penasco was when they started to believe. I mean, they knew they could do it, keep fighting, keep battling, play defense, and believe in each other.
You only have 1 loss in the 2024 calendar year so far. Do you talk about any win streaks or running the table or anything like
No,
that from
sir.
here on out?
No. We just keep battling. We just keep working. Every practice gets harder, tougher. We do the things other teams don't want to do. We practice defense all the time. It's hard. You stay sore, but we do it all the time.
You mentioned the win against Penasco, but you also have wins this year over Mesa Vista, Clayton, all 3 of those teams in the top 10. Was there one game in particular that gave you guys the confidence that you needed?
For sure, the Mesa Vista. I mean, their defense is hard to handle sometimes, and we told them, they're going to get turnovers. We just got to weather the storm and keep working it, We had some good games against, big schools like Capital. We just played West Las Vegas. That was a tough one for us and came out on top on that one also, so those are good for us.
How would you describe the style of this year's team?
Run and gun. We move that ball out of there, and we press everybody. If our press isn't working with our zone, we're going to go into man-to-man, and we believe in each other. We have really good help defense, and we just push and push all the time.
Junior Natalia Stout is your leading scorer. Linda Sanchez tore her ACL earlier in the year. What's the chemistry been like with this team with so much adversity you've kind of had to deal with?
Honestly, we lost a good senior last year in Christina Ragland, and throughout the summer, Linda proved herself that she can do it. She worked really hard, got faster every day, and then when she tore her ACL against Mesa Vista, that was a big deal. Natalia was more of our 2-guard, and she's been playing a big role for us in that guard position right now, getting everybody else the ball. She was a 20-point girl. Her numbers dropped down to about 14 to 16, but I mean, she's just dribbling the ball really good for us.
You mentioned the summer, which is really where the foundation starts.
Absolutely.
With any team. What did you guys do this summer that progressed you guys to where you are now?
We got in as many tournaments as we could, and we went to big tournaments like the Highlands one. We went to Albuquerque Academy. We took on some big schools, Clovis. We played Santa Fe High, Indian School, and I mean, we went well over 500. So we came in here a little big-headed, probably too big-headed, myself included, and we had to get humbled real quick.
Only 2 seniors on this year's roster, so does that set you up for the next couple of years here?
Absolutely, and honestly, our junior class is pretty big. We've got about 5, and we have 8th graders and freshmen that want that spot. So they know they got to push all the time where those spots can be taken, With a really good smaller class, even our 6th graders, 7th graders, we're going to be all right for a while.
The Pecos girls won it all in 2019 and 2021. What's it going to take to make it 2024 as well?
Honestly, last year, no one believed in us really, and we kept going and kept going. And this year, we're just as good as we were last year, even better. Our defense is better. And I think just telling them, stay humble, stay hungry. It doesn't matter our record and all that. Just keep playing, And this is supposed to be the funnest time of your life, So let's just go take one.
Well, listen, have fun, stay humble, stay hungry, and good luck the rest of the season.
I appreciate you. Really do. Appreciate you.
We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, 1 night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks, and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to the website to find out today.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game,
we never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Hi, I'm Angel Montoya from Pecos High School. Welcome back to Game Time.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Fe del Norte. In basketball, when you reach the state final, that last game of the year, but come up short, sometimes it's a hard reality to face. This year, there's one boys basketball team loaded with seniors that has some unfinished business. Academy for Technology in the Classics, or better known as ATC, is currently the top boys basketball team in Class 2A.
You know, after last year's success, the kids are really trying to continue on what we built, and I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Last year, ATC reached the state final with a chance to win their first ever championship, but lost to Pecos 52-49.
Last year was pretty heartbreaking, pretty rough, and it was hard for us to swallow that 3-point loss. Having an 11-point lead at halftime was rough, but again, that goes back to senior leadership. Free throws is what killed us last year. I mean, we missed 13 free throws. We lose by 3, and we missed 14 layups. So that was a huge impact on us. So we've really focused on making sure we make our free throws, make our layups. They feel like it's unfinished business. I mean, and you know, on any given day, you know, anyone can beat anyone, so we just got to show up and play every day.
This year's roster has 7 seniors, including 4 of their 5 starters. Their coach designed a schedule to get them battle-tested for the postseason.
I personally picked certain teams that I thought would be some of the top competitive teams in 2A, and I went out and actually scheduled games with them and went and played them at their place, right? And then, I mean, it also doesn't hurt our schedule that 9 or 10 of our games throughout the season were against 4 and 5A opponents. And we beat every 4A opponent we played.
How's this for a monster matchup? ATC's last game of the regular season is a date at Navajo Prep, number 1 in 2A against one of the top teams in 3A.
He tells me it's a championship atmosphere, and I know they're a hell of a team, so we're just looking to go out there and try and play and compete, and hopefully that'll help prepare us, right?
Mark your calendar. That game is scheduled for February 24th. We will know where ATC is placed in the postseason when the seeding and selection is announced on Sunday, March 3rd. Let's take a timeout, but before we do, let's check out the
from Pecos High School. We'll be back with more Game Time after this.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials across the country because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Hey basketball fans, the 2024 Newsenda Credit Union State Basketball Championships are right around the corner. Here's your chance to win an NMAA 2024 State Basketball VIP prize pack. Just download the NMAA 24/7 app on your mobile device to be registered to win a State Basketball Championship prize pack. That includes 2 passes to the 2024 Newsenda Credit Union State Basketball Championships, 2 Lobo level tickets, you know, those seats in the first 5 rows from the pit floor, a $250 gift card to Dick's Sporting Goods, a $100 gift card provided by Dion's, and a Wilson Evolution leather basketball. All you have to do is download the NMAA 24/7 mobile app on your iOS or Android device, and you are registered to win. It's just that easy. If you already have the app, you are automatically registered for a chance to win. A winner will be chosen during the 2024 Newsenda Credit Union State Basketball Seating and Selection Show on Sunday, March 3rd. Thank you to our participating sponsors, Dick's Sporting Goods, Dion's, and Wilson. Download now for your chance to win. Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Fe del Norte. Lovington High School has an NFL connection with Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher, who played for the Wildcats and, of course, has his name on their home field blue turf. But we recently found out there's another NFL connection with Lovington High School. Current Lovington High School football coach Anthony Gonzalez coached Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett at Martin High School when Gonzalez was a defensive line coach and strength and conditioning coach in Arlington, Texas. The two created such a bond that Garrett recently invited Gonzalez to Las Vegas, where Garrett received the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award and even gave Coach Gonzo a shout out during his speech. So, Coach, tell me the story. How do you know Myles Garrett?
I had a chance to coach Myles Garrett when I was at Arlington Martin High School in Arlington, Texas. And so I spent 7 years there coaching and coached him ever since he was a freshman all the way through. And so the thing that's the most special about him is I coached his older sister before I coached him, and his older sister, when she was in high school, her senior year, she won the 100-meter hurdles and she won the shot put at the state track meet. And so she's a phenomenal athlete. And so I've been probably one of the best athletes I've ever had a chance to coach. And then her brother came along, and so he's blown the doors wide open. So it's been a great relationship between him and I.
How often do you keep in touch with him?
We communicate quite a bit. In fact, when I got the job here in Lovington 7 years ago, that's the year that he got drafted. And so, went to the draft party and, went through all that. He was the #1 pick in the draft that season, that year. And we keep in touch quite a bit, and he's given back to the Lovington football program every single year that he's been in the NFL. He's been real good to us. Every year that he's had an apparel company that, sponsors him and does it. And the very first year that he was in the league, Adidas was his sponsor. And so he outfitted our entire team. The shirts that the kids wore in workouts, the shorts they wore, and then to equal out with Title IX, we bought our track team some gear with that, our girls track team. And so every single year he calls me up, in July and says, "Hey coach, what do we need?" And it's funny that he refers to Lovington as we, and so he's bought into what we do here, and he's bought into me. He wants me to be successful. He wants the Wildcats to be successful. And so he's given the program a lot since he's been in the NFL, and we communicate quite a bit. I try to talk to him every single week during the season and just check on him, see how everything is going. And so we're pretty close.
How did it come about that he invited you to the ceremony?
It was funny. I was sitting at home on a Sunday evening with the family, and we're just sitting around, just hanging out. And I had an alert on my phone, and so I looked down, and it was his business manager. And so I recognized the text, and I picked it up and opened it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And my wife's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "We're gonna go to Las Vegas." And she was like, "For what?" And so just getting that text and, the invitation to come to the NFL honors ceremony, just to be there. And, that's something I've been praying for him, you know, since he's been in the NFL. I feel like he's played his very best football the past 3 seasons. Each year he's taken it to another level. And so for him to get that recognition, I think he deserves that. And it was just an unbelievable blessing to be able to be there with him and get honored the way that he got honored.
Did you know that he was going to give you a shout out? And what was that like?
I did not, it's crazy just being there, and, my eyes were wide open the entire time because I'm sitting behind Chad Johnson, and Kurt Warner is sitting right in front of me, and Joe Flacco's sitting to the left of me. And I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm just like, wow. And so when they came up and were introducing the nominees for Defensive Player of the Year, his business manager said, hey, scoot in a little bit closer just in case he gets it. Let's make sure that we're all on camera. And I'm kind of like, this is not about me. I'm good right here. And so I just kind of sat there, and just him getting up there and was just as genuine as he could possibly be. And him inviting me to be at that ceremony, that's enough for me. I didn't need him to recognize me at all whatsoever. So for him to do that on stage when he got his award, it meant a lot to me. It was hard not to get emotional, just because, I know how hard that young man has worked to get to where he's at. And so I know what he's invested. And so to be a small part of that and to be recognized for that, I mean, it means everything in the world to me.
When you coached him in high school, was there any indication you thought the sky's the limit for this guy? He's going to make it in the NFL one day. He's going to be the #1 overall pick. I mean, were there any traits that kind of led you to believe that?
Yeah, the moment he walked on campus, I knew that he was special. In fact, when he came in as a freshman, he was about 6'2", 190 pounds, had a size 15 foot. And we had freshman football practice in the morning at Martin High School. And in Arlington, Texas, it's about 98% humidity all the time. And so he's coming out to football practice, has his helmet on with his glasses, and he can't see a thing because they're all fogged up because of the humidity. But just getting him acclimated to his body, by the end of his freshman season, I could tell that there was something special there. Really, to be honest with you, JP, where I really saw him elevate his level of play and his development as an athlete, as soon as football was over with, he went straight into the gym. And he was an outstanding basketball player. And then as soon as basketball was over with, he transitioned right into track. And he threw the shot and the disc for us. And so, grew an inch or two in the summertime, and put on some good weight, spent time in the weight room. And then by the end of his sophomore year, we're playing South Lake Carroll in the first round of the playoffs. And they have 2 Division I offensive tackles. They had not allowed a sack all year long. Third play of the game, he lines up, gets in his stance, runs around the corner, and sacks the quarterback. And we were in Cowboy Stadium. We were playing the playoff game in Cowboy Stadium. And the whole stadium went silent. I mean, just seeing him explode off the ball, I knew, he was starting to develop into something special. And so he just progressed, worked unbelievably hard. His work ethic is phenomenal. And that's a direct reflection of his parents. He's got 2 great parents that understand what it is to buy in, to be special at something. And so I knew he had a chance to be special. And then obviously when he committed to A&M and had the impact that he had there at A&M, I knew he had a chance to be very, very special.
Do you use Miles as an inspiration story to your current Wildcats?
Absolutely. I think unfortunately, I feel like in the society that we live in today, people are pushing young athletes to specialize in one thing and develop one thing in one sport, and I think it hurts kids, and so whenever we get into the off season after a football season and I sit down and I talk to our kids about playing multiple sports and how important it is to their development, I talk about Myles Garrett and talk about how he transitioned from football to basketball to track, and he was dominant in all 3. And doing all that, all 3 things, he never took time off of the weight room either. And so I think sometimes kids feel like they're overwhelmed, that we're asking so much of them. But it's not any different than what we've asked other kids to do. And, I think there's a lot of really special athletes that we get a chance to coach every day, and just getting them through that hurdle of be great at everything, try everything. You can help your team be successful in swimming, baseball, whatever it is, you can do it, and you can make this side work. And so I share that story with our kids every single year about Miles, and just how special he was and the amount of work that it took. And if you want to be successful, it's going to take work.
So what is it about Lovington and the ties to NFL superstars? First Brian Urlacher, now you coached Myles Garrett in high school with ties there. Who's next?
Well, I don't know. I hope that we get another one out here sooner or later. And so got some special players here. So the sky's the limit for them. In fact, Brian met Myles Garrett before he met me. They were at the All-Star game for the NFL, and Brian was a coach for one of the teams, and Myles was playing on that team. And so he started talking about Lovington, and then Myles was like, oh, wait a minute, there's a connection there. And so Brian got to meet Myles before I got to meet him, and then a few months later I got to meet Brian. So pretty cool to just have that tie in, and Brian's given back to our program and community a ton. And so our kids are very, very fortunate to be able to have that, not only from Brian, but from Myles. It just shows the type of servant leaders they are, and wanting to give back to the community and wanting to give back to the kids. It's just awesome to be able to have that here in Lovington.
That's a pretty cool story. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Fe del Norte. Thanks for tuning in this week. Make sure you dial us up next week, because we have more basketball to get to, not to mention state wrestling, state swimming. You know the place to find the most high school highlights is right here. We'll see you next time on Game Time.